Thank you. Welcome everyone back here after the lunch. Very happy being here, very happy presenting our work from the chapter Wikimedia, Switzerland. And just 2 sentences about myself. I'm the GLAM lead. GLAM stands for Gallery, Library, Archives, Museums. And yeah, we are very happy that we can present us a little bit of our work here this afternoon. Before joining the Wikimedia chapter, I worked in Germany for Bosch and Steinbeis. I was the lead for a cooperation funded by the European Union for coaching young startups developing open source. So I bring all this expertise into my work and really happy now presenting. Yeah, and the other 2 speakers will say a few words when it's their turn. Okay, digital self-sovereignty. Big topic, what does it mean? We already had the talk this morning by Arne from Vision. So just very briefly, we want to be head of our data. We want to be head of our lives using sovereign ways of working in the data field. So what for us is pretty important is that we also think about how artificial intelligence uses the data, what data is used, and how we can also change these data. So the main point here is that we do what we can. We cannot change big tech companies, but we can change our ways of feeding the data systems. That's now mainly my part in my work, as I work with the archives, with the cultural institutions. We can address knowledge gaps, we can check what data is there, what data is missing, and how do we have a brighter understanding of the knowledge we need right now in these days. So the motto there is think globally, act locally. So we encourage small initiatives in the movement. Yeah, that's the first time in history that the machines eat the knowledge of thousands of years without paying the people who provide this knowledge. And yeah, and some of this knowledge is maybe not that what we need in these difficult days with crisis, with climate change. So we need to change also what the machines are fed with. Here we come to the point of knowledge management. Knowledge management means to really look what knowledge is used for the machines, what knowledge is missing, what knowledge do we need, and yeah, we are addressing that. Yeah, the knowledge system, so there's a lot of work we can put into the systems. It's about a systematic change. And yeah, that sounds so easy, but you know, to actually do that on an everyday basis, it's not easy at all. But this is what we need right now. So I encourage everything who represents institutions to take part in this process, because in order to generate a higher sovereignty for all of us, we need to address all the small initiatives and we need to provide them with more power and more resources. Yeah, how can we stay human in all that? I know we here have a wonderful audience and we all agree on that topic, but still we have to create the change ourselves. So let's go for it. And last one. Yeah, and that's just what we are facing now. Do we have freedom, or are we all in a prison of data of big companies? Thank you for listening. I hand now over to my colleague, Ilario.
No, okay, I can change. I prefer, because I must look at the... yes, so in my time. Okay. So, I'm the person in charge of innovation in Wikimedia Switzerland, and unfortunately, I'm in charge of this question of artificial intelligence. So everyone asking me, we will die, when? apocalypse. Okay, I say to everyone, okay, we must wait before the peak. When we will have a peak of new technology, you already know this model, no? So basically, we can say that we reached more or less the peak. And now that we have this plateau, okay, we start to understand better the involvement of generative AI. Really to stress the question of only generative AI, this is the main issue. Okay, yes, together we invented this Wiki intelligence, collective intelligence, and these are the two models. Honestly, are very different models. Okay, artificial intelligence is something with the programmed, so really follow an algorithm, data set, and so on and so on and so on and so on. While Wiki intelligence is something more creative, more with entropy, a lot complicated to control. Okay, so really I always stressed this topic. Absolutely, we cannot be compared to generative AI. But what is the point? That everyone comment and say, Wikipedia is everyone can edit. There are errors. There is no expert validation. Vandalism is common. So we cannot trust in the content of Wikipedia. To use Wikipedia, no? So you are bad people, absolutely. So what is the irony? That when there was a meeting with OpenAI, Google, and so on, they admitted that a lot of training is done a lot on Wikipedia. So basically, we'll have the same content through ChatGPT, an example, and you trust in this content. But basically, it's taken from Wikimedia project. So the comment, you must apply the same comment there to this. And unfortunately, generative AI introduces AI hallucination because it gives you content that you trust more because it's really completed as you expect is completed. No? You have like a comfort zone using generative AI. So this is the chain of influence. Wikipedia, okay, training AI, global information flow, public opinion. So now, really we have a big problem. So we can influence more the public opinion because we can influence through Wikimedia project, through generative AI, and this is absolutely crazy. So in Wikimedia, there is this discussion. What we do? Do we use the continuous model, so we continue to do what we do, or we move to revolutionary scenario? So introducing a bit the artificial intelligence. This is the position. We needed to evolve. We cannot stay stopped in the same place, but the community is important. Every time, we cannot substitute generative AI to the community. Okay? This is absolutely a must. So, I think after Shana will speak about the problem of copyright. We don't have so much time, so we really highlight the problem of copyright. Okay, but these are a lot of problems the community is asking. Really, there are a lot of problems. So basically, the concept is that we give to AI, AI can support us, but more in terms of finding vandalism, improving the quality, helping the community. Okay, this is basically the position. Not substituting, not generating new content, but helping to monitor the content. I think this is the last one. So what is doing? Wikimedia Foundation, okay, Wikimedia Germany, we are here. I'm here, we are here. What we are trying to do, there are other chapters, Wikimedia France, UK, Poland, New York City, and so on. We are trying, for instance, to understand really, with this round table, for instance, in which direction to move, how we can integrate artificial intelligence in general in our model. Okay, so we are asking to experts how we can include without impacting our model. Okay, the main issue is that time, resources, strategy, community readiness. We don't have so much time, we don't have so much resources, and basically we don't have a strategy. So you can understand my position. I wanted to disappear as soon as possible. I pray every day. Okay, so Shana, do you want to do like me, or I change?
Works for me with the clicky. Yeah, hi, I'm Shana. I'm actually working together with Ilario on preventing or at least naming the apocalypse, I guess. So yeah, just a recent onboarding at Wikimedia, so working also in the innovation team. Now, my colleagues were actually speeding through their slides to be very friendly to the newbie. So I can take all the time in the world to talk about the lovely topic of copyright. I'm sure you are really excited. So, woo, here we go. Who knows that picture? Yeah, this is one of the first pictures that won a prize in an art competition that was fully AI generated. I couldn't stop myself from writing copyright no one, because actually the US Office for Copyright has decided so far, this is how they handle it at the moment, there must be significant human invention and human creativity involved in order for something to be copyrightable. Now, what that means, the jury is still out. What means, I wrote it here, human input, significant human input. We already see the UK and Hong Kong. There you can actually now copyright AI-generated images for up to 50 years. Everywhere else, it will be the jurors. There are a couple of really big lawsuits going on. I'm sure some of you heard of them. There was, for example, artists from DeviantArt who, in a class action lawsuit, this is what you see, CAL, class action lawsuit in the US, they tried to hold Midjourney responsible. Now, the big problem at the moment, getting to this in the next slide, is as copyright holders, we have to prove that we actually lost money by our content being stolen and AI models, for example, being trained. And the loss must be immediate. So this is the biggest ones that are currently ongoing, the biggest lawsuits, Raw Story, New York Times. They're currently suing OpenAI for scraping their entire content. The RIAA, who is the copyright association for musicians, Udio, some of you might have heard, who are reproducing music, and in visual arts, the aforementioned Stability AI, Midjourney, and DeviantArt as well, who just gave their users artworks to those companies. I'm not even talking too much about the EU AI Act because, well, I'm sure most of you are aware of it. There's your regulation ongoing. However, how the nations of the European Union will actually implement this, we'll see. So, copyright implications, input. As I just mentioned, oftentimes copyright holders weren't able to opt in. We weren't asked, right, if we have DeviantArt profiles. We weren't asked if it's okay to use our artwork to train those models. It was fine as long as OpenAI was OpenAI, as long as it was for research. But hey, if there are billions earned with my artworks, that situation might look differently, right? Obviously, we don't have GDPR compliance in these scraping models, right? Everyone can imagine that. Plus, what I mentioned before, at the moment, it doesn't look too good for those class action lawsuits that are ongoing. You have to prove immediate financial loss from your artwork being stolen or used without your permission. And that's obviously hard because you can always argue, well, it's not giving a one-to-one copy, right? Midjourney and co. are not giving a one-to-one copy, or ChatGPT for text. In the output, hallucinations, perhaps some in the room already know Hugging Face's work for the hallucination board. We are at the moment saying between 1.5% and 5% of all AI outputs are hallucinated. So they are not truthful, they are not real. Who is then accountable for if we use this, for example, within Wikipedia? Fun fact, by the way, Ilario alluded to this earlier. Wikipedia is probably the central training content for AI models. This means, again, also validation is often just done with Wikipedia. And interestingly, you have hallucinations of up to 30% unless there's a Wikipedia article associated with the subject matter you are asking ChatGPT for. But that shouldn't be the plan, right? I can look up Wikipedia myself. I don't necessarily need to ask the AI. Lack of citation. Usually, ChatGPT won't tell you where it got the data from, right? That you can actually check if this is truthful. You will have to Google again, and Google at this point is, let's be honest, more or less an API for using Wikipedia. And then, of course, I know the AI bros don't like when they hear this, but it's still a black box. We cannot ask an AI, hey, how did you get to your conclusion, to your abstraction? Because that's just how it is. So very hard to put any kind of copyright, any kind of accountability or assignment to this kind of information. So what are the implications for us? For the Wiki community, Wikipedia, its sister projects. Wikicommons is probably also a known factor. Wiki Voyage, we have, I think by now it's 25 sister projects roundabout-ish. Some of you has anyone heard of this project, Clean Up AI, that's going on in our community? Okay, there are actually quite a number of volunteers, I think in 3 digits by now, who made it their task to clean up Wikipedia, Wikicommons from AI content. Now, an early hope was that we would actually be able to say, hey, okay, we have these tools now, right, that detect AI content. The problem is they have somewhere between 5% and 30% false positives, because one of the major things that they check, what I said earlier about Wikipedia being one of the central training capacities, it checks if it sounds like a Wikipedia entry. If you have a text and you are checking with these AI detection softwares, it's actually looking, oh, this sounds like a Wikipedia entry, so I flag it as AI. So this is going on. Again, the human in the loop, the human factor, you don't get away from it. But this takes a lot of time and a lot of work that could be used to instead enrich Wikipedia, right? Then protected text snippets. How would I know when I use ChatGPT to perhaps improve on an article in Wikipedia? How do I know if this text snippet is just a copy-paste from the New York Times? Right? I don't, because ChatGPT isn't telling me, oh yeah, I dragged this from the December issue of the New York Times on this special subject, and here's the article. So even people that use it responsibly will run into this issue. And then, of course, this is future talk, and we don't know if it might happen or not, but it's good to think about early. Large-scale vandalism attempts. We already started seeing troll farms using AI models more and more often, NLP models, to do their work. And of course, Wikipedia and all its sister projects are run heavily by admins, by volunteer admins. And if just the requests are getting too much, at which point does it become a problem? Simply by vandalists and others using more efficient ways to go about their work. We need more responsible models, right? I just had a conversation during lunch, hey, wherever you are, folks, about the OSAID. That's the open source AI definition that was just released. It's a good start. We can still have a lot of arguments about it. AI in general, a good responsible AI model must be trained on open content, right? We need to know where it's coming from, and I'm not buying clothes anymore if I don't know that it's sustainably sourced, etc. Why should it be different with our AI models? Let's make sure that we're not stealing content because it's already there, right? Including source citation, this would be an interesting development for ChatGPT. Please, just give me a little further reading section, like in any good pop book that I get, pop science book. Why not? And we need interim solutions. And here it's interesting to have you folks here, also some open source developers. We need small solutions that can go a far way. I'm not sure if you know Nightshade, some of you. It's a tool with which you can actually treat your digital images so that they are not recognized by an AI. The content cannot be recognized properly by an AI. It's a bit offensive because it's also poisoning AI models. We can argue how quickly this will actually damage something with already millions and billions of pictures included. But it's little creative ideas like this. And this is something that actually also open source developers could take care of, right? And we artists would love to see this happening. And would love to have some tools with which we can opt in or out with our content. Yeah, there we are already at the end. I hope, see you already standing up, that we're on time.
Perfectly on time. Thank you so much. Please don't disappear.